Welcome back to The Experience. Today my guest is Jay Caceres. Thanks for coming on, sir.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Jay is the owner of Nola Tint on the West Bank. And where's it at again? Marrero? Yeah.
It's like the borderline of Harvey and Marrero.
For sure. That's where I'm from. Is that where you're from?
I was originally Algiers.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've always been a West Bank guy.
Yeah, dude. Even though they consider that the East Bank.
Yeah.
What everybody says. How long you been in business, man?
I want to say maybe going on 6 years now.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. It hasn't been an easy road.
No. The journey sounds like it started kind of crazy. Did you previously work for like other people or like what?
Yeah. Originally, just like anybody, had regular 9 to 5s. With the tent business, I've always been. It was something that a lot of people I should have let it go a long time ago because it just wasn't working out for me.
Yeah.
But I knew that I had it in me. You know, like to take it to another level.
Right.
And
instead of just being a worker.
Right. And I've tried different jobs in between. I've tried to walk away from it. It just always called me back.
How old were you when you like got into it, like tinting?
Originally, I want to say maybe I was 14 years old.
Nice.
But professionally, not till I was 18.
Right.
Right.
And
even then, I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't know.
Yeah. I'm still learning that, dude, that I don't really know anything. I'm just still learning.
I've been doing this, 26 years now or something.
Wow.
Somewhere around there, overall.
Yeah.
But professionally, I didn't start till I was like 18.
Wow. Well, I know like in the beginning you said when we first started talking, your story's like pretty different compared to a lot of people because you kind of got like a rocky story. It's like you've been through some trauma way before you started the business. So like what you want to tell folks like kind of a little bit of your backstory just to kind of put it in perspective?
Okay. I'm going to maybe take it back to how I got into it, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's pretty much what I was. I was a 14-year-old kid.
Hell yeah.
But a lot of it had to do with, I was always like a go-getter. I was always that hustler mentality.
I can see that.
Average 14-year-old nowadays, they don't even want to mow the lawn.
Yeah, I started cutting hair at 14.
So I was 14 years old when I first picked up my first Ofa knife, which is the knife that we use to cut the film with. Mm-hmm. I was watching somebody tint a vehicle in the street.
Oh, cool.
So my uncle at that time was getting his car tinted. And I've seen it in more than one occasion. And I will always sit there, watch.
Yeah.
I would be watching.
It's kind of like an art.
Yeah.
Cutting everything and it's cool.
It's not just tint. It's not just slapping a sticker on the glass or something.
For sure.
So I would say I was intrigued by the art, I guess. Yeah. And the first thing in my mind was, man, I always was trying to see how I can help my mom out. Because, we came from a household and, we were struggling.
Right.
So in my mind, I used to mow lawns. I used to try to, make a little $10, $15 here and there, which back then was a lot, especially for a kid.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So I was always trying to hustle, see what I can help my mom out, whether it was to help her out with something towards the bills or gas or maybe for the things that I wanted at that time, like a pair of name brand tennis shoes, which I never really got, you know?
Yeah, my parents couldn't do the same, dude.
I used to go to school with Pro Wings. I don't know if you remember Pro Wings.
I do. I mean, dude, I had Payless until I was able to buy my first pair of like Dion sandals with my own money though.
Yeah. Payless was the spot. And when I seen the guy that was tinting the windows for my uncle, I was like, I seen the whop of cash he had in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he said it was from tinting windows. So I got even more intrigued by it. I said, damn, I need to do that. I need to learn how to do this.
Saw the money.
You know, and I saved up some money, went to AutoZone, and bought some AutoZone tint.
Oh, damn.
The shittiest tint.
I was about to say, what's that stuff like?
You know.
Gotta start somewhere.
The shittiest tint that you can find.
Yeah. Not recommended.
I don't know if I can curse.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you do whatever you want, man. Yes. Freedom of speech.
So I started tinting a car that we had in the back of the house, like in the backyard or whatever, that wasn't drivable, but I just needed something to get some practice on. So fast forward a little bit, you know, some time went by. I still didn't know jack shit. I thought I did.
And this is all you teaching yourself.
Right.
This is no help.
They didn't have no YouTube or nothing that back then.
But like even that guy that was tinting your...
No.
Gotcha.
You know, so the only video clips I had of him was all in my head. It was all stored in my head, you know. So fast forward a little bit, I got a car when I was 15 years old, and I started trying to tint that car.
Yeah.
And that's how I really got into tinting. But my first experience on tinting my own vehicle didn't go too well. You know, so I tinted the vehicle. I bought a shitload of film from AutoZone, and I get on the expressway, and the shit flies off my window because I never put it on the inside of the glass. I put it on the outside, and I left it on the outside because I must have missed the part where he peeled the liner part where it's actually sticky. And I used my sister's blow dryer to kind of give it the shape to the glass.
Oh, yeah. You
know, to give some heat to it. But I never peeled it, and I left it on the glass. So I said, yeah, I mean, shit, I got my windows tinted. So it ended up flying off.
Because it goes inside the glass.
Yes, it goes inside.
Just making sure. Yeah. Damn, dude.
So I went back, collected all the tint off the road.
And that was the expressway?
It's on the expressway.
Bro,
I had just got on the
bro.
expressway. I ended up having to exit and loop back around and pick up all those tint scraps. Rolled it up, put it back in his box, went to AutoZone and said, hey, y'all sold me some defective tint.
This shit don't work.
Shit don't work. Dude. In reality, it was nothing wrong with the film. It was me.
Yeah. Well, you did all the steps, but putting it in the right place properly.
Yeah.
But you did most of it right, it sounds like.
So I had the concept of it, you know.
Correct.
Fast forward to that, you know, when I finally was 18, I got a shot to work at a shop.
Oh, nice.
Doing it. You know, a lot of shops wouldn't hire me, especially with no shop experience. Or, and I was underage.
Yeah.
You know, so when I turned 18, a friend of mine that was tinting windows that I did learn a lot from, he lined me up with that job.
Nice.
You know, so, and he also taught me a lot, you know, in his garage. He was tinting in his garage a lot. So he taught me a lot of it. And I ended up getting that job, and I worked there when I was 18 years old, and I learned a lot of do's and don'ts.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
on the job training.
Right. Which has molded me to, I guess, my own shop now, because a lot of do's and don'ts that I've seen, you know, a lot of mistakes that a lot of tinters do, you know, is even from installing to ownership, you know.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's just like a lot, like any business, there's a lot more to it than just owning a business.
100%, dude.
You can't just, I'm open for business. There's a lot more that goes behind the scenes. That
it's easy to get the LLC, bro.
Right.
It's hard to keep it going.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. If you want to be successful, sometimes you got to do shit you don't even want to do. You know?
Yeah.
It's the shit that don't get displayed. It's the shit that behind closed doors, or, you know, the dirty stuff, the dirty work that a lot of people don't want to invest time in. You know, if you want to make it, that's in any business. You can be selling tomatoes on the street, you know.
everybody wants to be a business owner until it's time to start doing business owner shit. And then they're like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. Where's the money? You just spent it on your rent or your film or your camera or whatever shit you're doing. You know, it's not always like what people think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, the reward's there too, right?
Right.
I mean, because you work for yourself.
Yeah. That's
a beautiful thing. So
it's definitely a blessing.
For sure, dude. When so the crazy stuff I want people to like kind of know because dude, you're like I don't know, you're like David Goggins right now for all the shit you've been telling me. You know, I mean, rehabbed yourself you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, you like overcome like some crazy injuries, which I don't even know how you even still walking. Honestly.
Yeah, I ask myself that also every day. You know, I've learned to count my blessings instead of complaining about shit. You know, or a lot of people focus on the bad stuff.
Right.
You know, every day. I mean, you're gonna get tested every day. That's how I see it. Yes. You know, once I changed that mentality of mine, a lot of things just started kind of clicking, falling into place. You know, but if I really want to be, you know, going back to the subject that you're saying, I have faced a lot of adversities. You know, I've been through a lot. You know, that the average Joe probably wouldn't be here to tell it. Mm-hmm. You know, from having to change your whole lifestyle because you go from being normal to be able to walk right to all of a sudden suffering an injury from an accident without getting the proper treatment.
Right.
And it just lingers around and keeps lingering around until it just gets worse. And that's where I found myself at in a predicament that I was working, and all of a sudden, this is quite some time after I had the accident, and just never got the proper treatment. Ended up having some sciatica issues, also some spinal injuries, L4, L5, L3, L4, L5, disc herniated. So it working like that over the time just led me to only keep on injuring that injury.
Right. Is it herniating also like bulging? Or,
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Just making sure.
And
which they both sound fucked up. So
yeah.
I'm just
you know, so eventually one day I ended up having like a slip and fall at the job that I was having, and that re-aggravated that injury.
Right.
You know, so it never really fully went away, you know, because I never got the proper treatment for it. And I continued to work like that. And after some time, we'll just keep on working, you know, because I've always been a hustler. I've always had to work, you know. Nothing has ever been like handed to me, or I can take some time off and not work. And, you know, I live with mom and pops. That was never the case.
Right.
So fast forward, it got to the point where I couldn't feel my leg anymore. You know, that day at work, I was working, I made it through the day, but the agony, the stabbing, the pinching pains in my spine and my hip area, it was just so much agony.
Right.
And I was able to make it to the house. And when I made it to the house, I just laid on the couch, and I never made it back up off the couch, you know, until it was time to go to the hospital.
Right.
I knew that I needed to go to the hospital. I couldn't even feel my leg by then. You know, so it was a weird injury because I could feel my leg, but I couldn't move it. And the only feeling I had was like if somebody lit me on fire.
Yeah, you said like it was stabbing. Like
yes, it was a lot of stabbing pain, like a big old Michael Myers knife was just going inside of me constantly, not just one time, just constantly being stabbed. You know, and I went to the ER, spent some hours there until they finally did an MRI, and that's when they said you need emergency surgery or you're gonna lose your leg.
Damn.
Yes. So
you left that part out.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna end up paralyzed. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what you had said.
You know, so
yeah, damn. Oh, they meant like lose it, like you're just not gonna use it,
right?
Not like
right, not cut it off.
Fuck, it's the same thing,
pretty much.
Yeah, dude.
You know, so by the next day, at 6 a.m, I'm getting prepped for surgery, and they told me, well, the question I asked, well, how long is recovery?
Right.
I'm already thinking in my head,
Yeah.
I can't be without work this long.
How long I'm gonna be out?
Right.
You know, this bill's due. That bill's due.
Right. So the doctor looks at me and is like, that really shouldn't matter right now.
Right.
What's important is to get you be able to save your leg. And I'm like, I'm still not registering how crucial this injury is. You know, I'm still focusing on, I got cars to tint tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And this is why you still working for someone at the moment, right?
Yeah, I was working. Yeah. I was actually working for a dealership.
Okay.
Tinting cars for a dealership when that happened. And I'm just still thinking how these cars are going to get tinted, you know?
Yep.
They told me, recovery is probably going to be maybe 4 months, 4 or 5 months, 6 at that. It took me 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
How long was the surgery?
The surgery was maybe about
supposed to be. Ended up being.
It was supposed to be like 3-4 hour surgery, and I think it was like maybe a good. I forgot how many hours I told you it was.
12.
Like 12 hours or something. It was
12 something. 12 and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy.
It was quite some time.
That's crazy to be like under the knife that long.
Yeah.
You know, because like all, you know, what's the stuff they give you, anesthesia and all that. You know, some people, I had a bad reaction to it. So some people don't even do well with that stuff.
Yeah. I was in the hospital for about a week recovering.
Damn.
And then got sent home, a wheelchair. They told me to basically take my time, to don't do nothing, to speed up the process or force myself to do things.
Right.
To gradually work at maybe going to the restroom, this, that, and that. Man, I felt so helpless. I said, I can't do this wheelchair. This wheelchair shit, I can't do it. Like a week into it, I kicked that. I mean, not even a week, a few days, I kicked that to the curb, and I started using the crutches. Wasn't even supposed to be on crutches.
Damn, that's what I was going to ask, if you were supposed to be sitting.
Yeah, I was supposed to be laying down and sitting, and that was uncomfortable. I couldn't lay and sit, you know. And eventually I was doing the rehab, and they only did so much.
Gotcha.
Eventually we ran into a dead road, like a dead end. I said, well, this is the best we can do.
Well, yeah, isn't that what they like kind of told you after surgery? Like, this is all we could do for you.
After a few months of doing rehab and stuff, this is the best we can do. You know.
And at that point, where are you at? Like, what's the?
By then,
what's it like? What do you call it? Like at that point, it's like, oh, well, you have this still or that still. Like, what do you have at that point?
By then, I still have a lot of. I wouldn't say it was the same pain.
Yeah.
Because it was different. I didn't have them stabbing pains anymore.
Like they were able to fix the
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they ended up shaving down the bulge disc to decompress off the nerves, which was the main issue I was having. The discs were like sitting and pushing on the nerves.
For sure.
You know, so once they ended up cutting the discs, both discs, L4, L5, and they shaved them down, I was able to get some type of relief and have movement back in my leg. You know, but till this day, I still have part of my leg is numb. I can twist the skin on it and don't feel it.
God damn.
You know, so after months of rehab, following doctor's orders and stuff, you know, I was with a cane. I would have to walk with a cane. Because my leg was on a delay. I would have to drag it pretty much. And that went on like that until I decided I can't do this anymore. I'm going to have to rehab myself.
Yeah.
So I started looking at some YouTube videos and stuff like that of other people's experiences.
Well, yeah, because at that point, like you were telling me, the medicine had you feeling kind of crazy, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They had some medicine.
They had some pain medicine and some nerve medicine for your nerves. The nerve medicine really did me in. Like, it was not good for me.
Yeah.
I pretty much had every single side effect except for suicidal thoughts. It's definitely not
going from a go-getter to ready to.
That was hard for me to adjust.
Yeah,
because now I'm a couch potato.
Right.
Definitely was a different change.
Right.
It was a change that I didn't expect.
Because before the injury, before even the first crash, like you were saying, you was always in shape. What, 205? Like just
I was always, I wasn't skinny, but I was always a solid person.
For sure.
So eventually I rehabbed myself, and I had gained so much before rehabbing myself with the whole medication and being on a couch potato for 2 years at that time. I won't, maybe not 2 years. It was less than 2 years, like a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
Because it took me about 2.5 years to fully recover, to rehab. From the day of surgery to 2.5 years after, it took me. I didn't even work.
Wow.
You
said you were taking care of your daughter though.
Yeah.
So that's work.
Yeah. And that was challenging because she was so little at the time. It was hard for me to even get on the floor or pick something up for her or this, that, and that. She was still in diapers.
Yeah.
Changing her diaper was crucial.
Right.
And
tough.
Half the time I was high.
Yeah. For the pain.
Yeah. And then.
Did that help any? Did you get any relief from the smoke?
No. I was high off of painkillers.
Oh, shit. No. Oh, okay. That's what you meant.
I was high off painkillers.
Gotcha. Damn, dude.
Never really been a painkiller type person.
Yeah.
Until that experience,
Yeah. It never did me right either. I was like,
and I ended up going to the gym because I had gained so much weight from just no activity.
At that point, from like 205, what did you like end up getting up to?
Well, the 205 came in after the rehab.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but I was maybe 250 before that. 250, and then I ended up going 400 pounds. Like
2.5 years sitting in,
in like a year and a half of just sitting and not doing anything. The weight just kept piling on. Medications will do that too.
For sure.
I never was really a bad eater, like talking about, but I guess eating and then just no activity and not being able to walk for too long, just laying there or sitting there. Anybody would gain that weight,
Easy, dude. Easy. Especially going from like working on your feet all day, like you do, to just laying down. Mm-hmm. It's not,
So I told myself that this is not the way I wanted to live my life. So I pretty much rehabbed myself after that point. I did a lot of late night gym activities, started eating better, some meal plans and stuff like that. Eventually, after 2.5 years from that, when it initially happened, the surgery happened, I didn't start working until maybe 2.5 years after, but I had dropped 100 and something pounds, like almost 200 pounds.
A fucking whole human, dude.
I was fully committed into fitness, and I was a health freak, gym freak.
Hell yeah.
And just everything was about fitness. And it helped out a lot, not just mentally but physically.
Yeah.
It just physically made a big change in me. Like I still had some certain issues that stayed with me from the injury, but it was so much more doable.
Gotcha.
You gotta be able to, like, it's not gonna be perfect. You gotta, some things are doable. You'll be able to, I can live with this.
Yeah.
I can. Some things you're just like, oh no, I gotta take care of this. I can't live like this.
Yeah.
But
because it sounds like you live with like a lot of ailments anyway.
Yeah.
Like previous, I'm like, damn, how the hell he walks around like that? But some people just got a different threshold, bro.
Right. And I started tinting again because the doctors told me you'll never be able to tint another car.
Damn.
Yeah, they told me you'll never be able to run. I was running 2 miles every day.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was I didn't really care at that point.
Right.
If I didn't really care at the point of listening to what they told me I couldn't do anymore.
Yeah.
Because obviously I proved them wrong.
Yeah.
You know. Now I was still cautious. I was still careful. You know, one bad step, I can really hurt myself because of the injury.
Right.
You know, spinal injuries, especially spinal surgeries, they're very delicate.
Yeah.
You know, so I think 2015 I started working again, tinting. Took a job in Dallas, Texas.
Nice.
And I just felt like I needed maybe a change. And I moved to Dallas. And from that moment on, I just started tinting again, you know, and never really looked back. Now, I did try to step away from it for a little bit because when I ended up moving back here, the pay was different, you know. So a lot of these places here, they make the money, but they undercut and underpay the employee a lot, you know. So you go to other states, window tints are very high demand.
Wow.
You know, here, it's a high demand also, but like you go to Texas, I mean, there's window tint and car shops,
everywhere.
Accessories like car, you know, and I'm not talking about like mechanics. I'm talking about like aftermarket stuff.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere. But
and I mean, there's just so many people, so many
Right.
cars. Like the demand is high.
Right.
people
Here
make
is
more
just
money.
like,
Well, I think people make more money in Texas, man. Or
Yeah.
Texas just has more money, you know?
yeah.
Like New Orleans is kind of like on that cusp of
Right.
some people got money, some people don't, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's a luxury, right? I mean,
Yeah.
tint's a luxury. I mean, you need tint physically, right? But
Yeah.
to get it, it's like, do I really need to get that?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people think the same way. Like tint is a luxury, but tint now is like a must. Like
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. With the environment,
yeah,
everything,
you know,
dude. The sun,
especially
it's crazy.
summertime. You know,
Oh, yeah, dude, it's
summertime.
brutal.
You know, now I mean, firsthand experience. I mean, a lot of people that come to my business, they come straight after they purchase that car.
Yep, that's me.
You know, because tint is a must. You know,
Yeah.
I remember when it used to get labeled a lot back in the day that it's a luxury. Like,
Well, I think people getting used to seeing like the dark tint,
Yeah.
like, you know, and you got the rims on your truck or your car.
Right.
You're like, oh, all right, you got to have money to do that, you
Yeah.
know? But really, it's like everybody should have it.
yeah,
Every car.
even if it's a lot of people get tint, even if it's not dark.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's also some people that have a misconception of tint that they think you're up to no good because you got dark windows.
Right.
You know, but really, the purpose of tint is to get the heat out, to get some heat or glare, you know,
Right.
out of your vehicle. So you don't necessarily have to go too dark.
Right. Especially with all the new tech, huh?
Right.
There's
I
some
mean,
good
now
stuff
you
out
got some
there.
good stuff. You got ceramic tint, you know, gets a lot of that heat out.
Right.
That's where a lot of people think that tint is tint. Tint is not just tint.
No.
If you do your research, you'll see that there's entry level tint and then there's the good stuff, like the really good stuff that blocks a lot of UVs out your vehicle.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, and protect your interior and stuff.
And there's so many different like types now. It's like, you know, it's kind of crazy how it's like evolved from like when I was in high school.
Definitely.
Yeah, dude.
Definitely evolved more than that AutoZone shit that I first started.
Did you ever return that tint or?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I said, there ain't something wrong with this tint.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. So, basically, like, once you rehabbed yourself and you went to Dallas, what made you want to come back?
I was going through a divorce at that time,
Okay,
and I needed to be closer to my daughter at this.
gotcha. So she was here. You moved over there.
They originally moved with me, and
Oh, gotcha.
then you know all that happened, and
Yeah.
they
It's
ended
hard
up
to leave
coming
the
back.
state. Yeah, all that
they
stuff,
Ended up
yeah.
coming back, and
How long you lived out in Dallas?
I want to say maybe about a year
Okay.
and a half or something like that.
Okay.
And came back here, and coming back here was like starting from scratch all over again.
Right.
You know, then you got a change. You go from having your kid with you to all of a sudden you got to share your kid.
Yeah.
So that's a change itself too. That's pretty crucial. That can be crucial for a lot of people.
Yep. Single parent and
yeah. So 2016 was kind of rough because when I moved back here at the end of 2016, I think I might be a little off on my timetables. Man, going from Texas where you could tell people making money.
Yeah.
Like people, if you're not making money in Texas because you don't want to make money.
Correct.
There's so many opportunities, and the opportunities that were presented here, I just felt like, man, it was tough. I mean, I was trying to do anything just to get by, I was living by my sister's house at that time. So I was trying to get back on my feet.
Right.
I just felt like I fell off this big old cliff, hit rock bottom. So, I mean, my timetables are a little bit off because my wife and I got together New Year's.
Nice.
2015. So it could be, I got my dates messed up.
It's all good,
bit,
dude. It's all good.
But I want to say maybe the time that I was staying with my sister at my sister's place, I still was tinting. Like I was tinting on the side and trying to find a job. I ended up finding a job tinting windows as well. Pay sucked. I tried also working at dealerships. I try to leave the shit alone. I try to go get a real man's job, like a lot of people told me.
Yeah. A lot of people get a real job.
Yeah, go get a real job. Stop putting these stickers on people's windows. Man, that shit to this day still sits with me.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
To this day, that shit, those comments that a lot of people have made, people that were close to me or just looking out for you, just trying to help you out.
For sure.
Need to leave that shit alone, go get a real man's job. All that shit stuck with me and just fueled me.
Correct.
To get where I'm at.
Correct.
To build my brand. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Well, some people are looking out for you, and then and if it's not going the way you said it was going, and then it might be like, oh, well, but sometimes you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, and I was still doing jobs on the street, like just anything to make money. I guess
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do.
But I knew that one day I wanted to open up my shop again. I say again because I've tried 2 other attempts prior.
Okay.
And it just wasn't successful.
Yeah. Wasn't the right time.
Wasn't the right time. But they say the third time's the charm.
There you go.
I mean, I wish I would have got it on the first try.
Oh.
But I wouldn't know what I know now.
Exactly.
I wouldn't know where I went wrong.
They say, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't know some of the things, of the don't do type stuff,
right.
that I did wrong on the business side. Not really much the installing part. It was more of the business side. And the very first time it was maybe working capital.
Which is big for people that don't know what that means.
and believe it or not, is the lack of social media played a big factor too.
Gotcha. Because
social media didn't even really exist when the first time I tried to open up a shop.
Right.
It didn't exist.
Same.
So when I opened up my shop now, I grabbed social media by the horns.
Nice. So you went like a totally different route, like a modern route, they would say.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you have to nowadays.
And I started off mobile, going to people's houses and tinting at their house or tinting at their job, and I ended up finding this small little shop, and I eventually started working out of there, but it was so small you couldn't even really if you didn't get a text message from me with the address for your appointment, you didn't know a tin shop was there.
Nice.
Like literally when I say a hole in the wall, So Nola Window Tint originally was supposed to be in Metairie.
Okay.
And
Shout out.
And things didn't go as planned. It didn't pass the zoning, and it was another hole in the wall shop.
Right.
So that's all I was able to afford.
Yeah.
I don't even think I was able to afford that at the time, but I was gonna try to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I ended up going. It was something about the West Bank that I didn't want to go back to.
Yeah. Sounds like me, man.
It was something I didn't want to go back to, but
yeah.
My wife, you know, she's a West Bank person.
Yeah.
She's always been in the West Bank. And she refused to want to move out of the West Bank.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was because of the parents, you know, her family's there. You know, she's very family
grounded.
Yeah. So I said, damn, I'm gonna have to move back to the West Bank. So
y'all were living.
I know I'm kind of jumping off the conversation.
It's all good. No, it's all good. We're leading up to it.
You know,
but at the like y'all were living in Metairie at the time.
No.
Okay.
She's always lived in.
Yeah. So y'all, damn. So you was trying to put the shop in Metairie though.
Yeah. But I got a really good deal at the shop that I ended up moving into.
Mm-hmm.
So with the money that I was working with, I couldn't really be picky with where the shop was going to be at. I never expected it to be what it is now today.
Right.
Like it's definitely a blessing. Like if I tell you how it all started to the road that led me to get where Nola Window Tint is today, like I didn't expect none of that.
It's the journey, brother.
You know, I didn't expect. I didn't ask for it. Like I worked my ass off for it.
Right.
But that wasn't part of the agenda, you know. It was more like, all right, I just need a place to get off the road. You know, a lot of these places where I was going to was not the safest place.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I was tinting in the streets. I want something a little more where I can do a few cars and just go home.
Right.
Well, things don't ever go as planned either. So if I made 4 or 5 appointments for that day, those 4 or 5 appointments didn't even show up or had common courtesy and say, hey, I need to reschedule. Or, hey, I won't be able to make it.
Right.
So now I'm sitting on my hands, you know. So Entergy don't want to hear, oh, nobody showed up today.
Nope. That's the part they leave out.
Or the landlord, you know, knocking on your door, where's my fucking rent? You know, they don't.
That's the part they leave out about being a business owner.
You know, so I just, when I opened the shop on the West Bank in that hole in the wall, I just grabbed social media. I did a Instagram and just ran with it. Just started posting.
And what year you opened it?
I want to say, I think it was 2018.
Nice.
Early 2018, like beginning of the year.
Yeah. So you said y'all have been in business now 6 years?
Yeah, something like
that. 6.5. It's pretty impressive, man. Sounds like that shop paid off.
But how I went to it, how I went about it was crazy because I was trying something new before I opened Nola Window Tint. I was trying to sell cars.
Okay.
So I was working at a dealership.
Right.
Which was a blessing also.
Yeah.
I didn't make no money.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't good enough to sell because I wasn't good enough to lie to people.
Right.
And sell them cars way overpriced than what they, you know, could even afford.
You have a heart.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned in the sales business, you gotta be vicious, man. Like to sell cars, like you gotta be very vicious. Like I know people that sell to their church church people and lie to them straight to their face.
Yeah, man. It's hard selling cars. It's you know, I got a lot of buddies that do it, and it's just it's part of the business, you know. It's like because they got to eat too.
Yeah.
But it's not always like it's weird.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So to each his own, and I'm not knocking nobody for it. You know, I mean, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business, and everything evolves. We're in 2023, going in 2024. Everything evolves, just like everything goes out.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I was trying to sell cars, and I had been trying to sell cars maybe for about a year.
Okay.
Something like that. And I decided to quit. Just walked out. I got tired of it.
How long you was doing that for?
I was for about a year.
Okay. Oh wow. So
I had already been at 3 different dealerships.
Damn. Yeah.
Which a lot
sounds
of
about right, dude.
A lot of salespeople jump around.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
it's a crazy business.
If the numbers ain't what
they
want you at,
Yep.
And I was selling cars. I don't know. I guess I didn't know too much of the ins and out of it, and I was getting screwed on a lot of deals and stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't making no money.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a way to make a ton of money selling cars, but it's not the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't in
but that's good.
I wasn't in the best predicament to sit around, and I didn't have much time to sit around and say I want to start this and really learn it in and out. You know, I'm the type of person that I give it my all, no matter what I do.
Nice.
I'm gonna give it my all. No half-ass with me.
That's how it should be, man.
It's either 2 feet in, or I'm not doing it at all.
Yep.
So that was so frustrating about me trying to venture off and do something else, do something different, because I was giving it my all, and still I felt like I was getting screwed over. Shit wasn't going my way.
Right.
So at that time, my wife was pregnant. We were expecting our youngest daughter. So that's why I said I didn't have much time to bullshit around or venture off and try something new, or say, hey, I'm gonna go back to school and get a trade. I didn't have time. I needed to make shit happen now.
Right.
She was the breadwinner at that time. And I just felt I was the type of guy that I just felt like the man is supposed to provide. The man is supposed to take care of the household. And as much as I was trying my hardest to make things work, shit wasn't going my way. So I felt I was already hard on myself.
Felt defeated.
Yeah, I felt very defeated. I got my wife that's due soon, still working. And it wasn't because I was lazy and didn't want to go get a job or didn't want to work. I was working, just wasn't making enough. Before I started selling cars or trying to sell cars, I was tinting, and that's why I walked away from tint, because it just wasn't. I wasn't making enough.
Yeah.
Nor did I feel they were maybe looking to bring in more clientele.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did other stuff there where I worked at.
Gotcha.
They did a lot of other stuff that didn't involve window tint. So the other guys, they were good. Everybody was making money. Mm-hmm. And when we did tint windows, they were making money too, but I was getting the leftovers.
Yeah, the crumbs. Yeah, damn.
So I just, again, I didn't have time to waste. We had a kid on the way. So I went to try to sell cars and get into that, and it started with the service department. That didn't go too good, and then I switched over to sales. Man, I thought I'm over here hearing everybody saying, "Oh, you make $10,000 a month." I'm like, I can use that right now.
Yeah,
so I started trying to work hard for it, man, and it just wasn't. I was selling cars. I was selling 20 to 28 cars, 30 cars a month.
That's a lot, dude.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of cars.
So I don't know where in the hell I was getting screwed.
It's probably because you weren't selling the warranties and all the other.
Well, but they sell that in the other office.
Yeah. Oh, so, they sell it. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. So somewhere in there, I was getting every time I sold a car, they tell me, "Oh, we not making no money off it. We sold it for at cost." So I was definitely getting screwed.
Yeah.
Selling that amount of cars a month and being bilingual. Yeah. It was definitely a plus. And I'm still not making no money.
Yeah, it's just something ain't right.
Doesn't make sense.
28 cars ain't adding up.
28 cars. I was selling 30 cars. I was at times number 3 salesperson, number 2 salesperson, number 4 salesperson in the whole dealership.
Making the least amount
in the month and making shitty ass money, $300-$400 a week. Wow, bro. I was like, man, this can't happen.
So that was like a turning point.
Yeah, and I walked out. My wife at that time, she was at home, and she had just got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was on me.
Damn, dude.
Like she had just got laid off, and I needed to make something happen like now.
Right.
Like I needed to win the lottery or something.
Yeah.
something.
Oh, shit.
You know, and shit. We only had one car. We were sharing a car. We were doing bad. We were doing bad.
Damn, dude.
And I had maybe $200 to my name, and I got home that day. I walked out. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I walked out, went home, and she's at home. By then, you know, the baby's born and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's at home. She said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I quit." What? She went into straight panic mode.
Oh yeah, dude.
She freaked out. Like,
Can't imagine.
but in my head, I already had this plan.
Right.
You know,
right.
I had this vision. I had this plan. She said, "So what you gonna do?" I'm gonna go back to tent, and I'm gonna do mobile. I'm gonna just go to people's houses and jobs and whatever, and we'll figure it out. And in my head, I'm like, if I do 2 cars a day, that's X amount of money. If I do 3 cars a day, I'm gonna try to shoot for 5 cars a day.
Right.
But like I said, shit don't never go as planned. You know, I was getting calls. I was getting calls, and people still was like, "Oh, all right, we do this time." And then when it's time for their appointment, I would call ahead of time, make sure to confirm.
Correct.
And they wouldn't answer the phone, this, that, and that. You know, so now I'm still looking for work. You know, and I ended up getting some calls, but problem with mobile, I was doing, since I had to get it.
Yeah.
I had to come home with something every day.
Correct.
A call might come in for a car in Gretna.
Right.
And the next car might be in reserve. Or the next call might be, I've gone as far as Mississippi to tint a car. You know, I did what I had to do.
Yeah, correct.
You know, and eventually it started getting exhausting. You know, for what I was making in return.
Right.
For a lot of the stuff that I was doing, the traveling, just wasn't worth it. It wasn't enough.
I mean, that's gas money.
I was exhausted from driving, you know, so I ended up running into an old landlord's son of mine, an old landlord of mine's, his son. I ended up running into him one night in the Walgreens, and he said, "Oh, you know, my dad still has the shop," which just so happened to be the first shop I started at, that I try to open my business in.
Gotcha.
This is before Katrina.
Wow.
But before Katrina, social media,
Right. Yeah.
you know, wasn't really social media.
No.
Like Facebook maybe started, but
I
it was
don't
more
think-
for like college.
Yeah. No Instagram. I think
Right.
MySpace was still out. Shit like that.
MySpace wasn't really like,
Not a social media.
it was after
Not-
after Katrina where MySpace
yeah.
really kicked it out.
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true. That's true. Damn. I
But
forgot.
before Katrina, before Hurricane Katrina, it was really like Facebook, but it was more for like college kids and college stuff, you know.
It wasn't like it is now.
Right.
There wasn't like that marketing and
Right.
advertising like you do
you
now.
know,
You know.
And like I said, I tried to open shop there in like 2005.
Right.
And man, it was just, by it not being visible. In 2005, I felt like I needed a shop that was visible.
Yeah.
To drive traffic.
Back then, you needed that.
Right, to drive traffic. Nor did I have money to hire a advertising company, you know, because back then you needed to hire advertising or be on the newspapers.
Or the billboard.
Yeah.
Right.
To drive traffic. And,
Yes.
you know, so I was destined to fail. You know, I didn't have the proper things that I needed to succeed, you know. But fast forward to 2018, I run into his son, and he tells me my dad still has that shop that you worked out of a long time ago. And I said, shit. He said, give me his number and I'll call him the next day. I called him. We met up, and good guy, you know.
Obviously.
He was a good guy. He helped me out a lot. which he so happened to, when I needed a place to stay when I was 18 years old, he rented me an apartment he had around the shop that he had also.
Yeah.
And I lived there for a while. That's how I originally met him.
Wow.
You know, when I was like 18 years old. But when I opened the shop again, I didn't have all the money. I just wanted to inquire and see how much he wanted a month. It was a small little shop. It was a hole in the wall. Yeah. He said, man, give me $400 a month, $450 or something like that, he told me. I said, deal.
Dang.
He said, give me, I want the first month in deposit. I was straight up with him. I've always been a straight up person, you know. And he told me, look, don't worry about it. I'm going to help you out. Get yourself situated, set up, and then just pay me back after.
Nice.
Once you know, making a little money.
So he saw something in you.
He always did.
Yeah.
You know, he
sounds like
did.
it.
He was a good guy, and I say was because he recently passed away. You know.
Sorry to hear that.
And he helped me out with that, and I started painting the shop, and I started putting some lights. They didn't have no lights in there.
Damn.
You know, this is on the West Bank as well.
Dude.
This is right off of 4th Street. You know, 4th Street is not really big activity type, not for tint. You know, you got a lot of mechanic body shops, and
you got the little tire places right on the corner.
Tire shops, you know. But I knew I had something different than 2005. I had social media.
Right.
I didn't need, in my head, I didn't need a visible shop.
Yeah, you don't need a storefront at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and by then my wife is still freaking out. My wife is like, I don't know how you gonna pull this off. We need stable income right now,
right.
Which she had all right to feel that way.
For sure.
You know, but she's definitely been my biggest supporter, man. Like her and my kids, like, is the reason why I've pushed
so
the
hard.
way I've pushed, you know, and sacrificed a lot of time with them to build Nola Window Tint.
Right.
Like a lot of people think, oh, this shit got built overnight. It didn't.
No.
You know, this shit.
Sounds like it's been 40 years in the making.
Man, I went from trying to be on a schedule. We're open from 9 to 6 or 9 to 7, 9 to 6. I'm gonna set up these appointments in the morning. Nobody would show up. Nobody would show up. And I started slowly realizing maybe I still do need a storefront. And I didn't really let it defeat me. I continued to push and I continued to post on social media. Like when I say I grab social media by the horns, I continue to post and just constantly post like a lot of my work on there. And my following, my following base, the people that follow me just started growing. Like I started off with like 112 people. I still have the screenshot of me having very little people as followers.
Yeah.
You know, and I would look at other Instagram pages of other shops, maybe another state, and that shit will motivate me, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, damn, I want to be like that.
Right.
You know. But of course, everything you see on social media is not what it looks like, you know.
Correct.
So I started doing a lot of posting. Like if I would tint a car here, I'd take pictures of it. Till this day, we still take pictures of a lot of what we touch.
Yeah.
You know, and keep our pages updated. You know, so I had about 112 or something like 120 people following me. And a lot of that was people I knew and friends and family. Yeah. By, I want to say maybe 4 months into the business, I had maybe 87 people. Dang. So instead of growing, the shit was dropping because people got tired of seeing me post every single damn day, 4 or 5 times a day, the same old shit. They go posting tint again or something about tint or you know, he's posting another tint.
He's promoting his business.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and unfollow him.
Damn,
I didn't take it personal. Because I knew the shit was going to click for me. Yeah. I just didn't know when the fucking plane was going to take off. But I knew it was going to take off.
We never know.
You know, and I continued to study social media.
Right.
I continue because that's a job itself. Social media, it's
I'm
not just
finding that out.
posting.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not just
no.
posting. It's a
It's
lot
an art
more.
form, bro.
Yes.
Algorithms.
It's a lot more to it than just, hey, I'm gonna post this picture.
Yeah, no.
You know, also hashtags,
Keywords, titles.
Now, you know, hashtags is really kind of irrelevant, but
Yeah.
keywords is where it's at now.
Correct.
You know, so I started losing followers, and then I just continued to push, man. I continued to push, but at the same time, money's still not coming in like it should.
Right.
You know, got the landlord knocking on the door. Bills backed up. My wife is stressed. You know, what really set me off even more is landlord knocking on the door and my kids hearing we're gonna get kicked out.
Yeah.
Like that shit, it didn't sit well on me, man.
Yeah.
And it's just everybody wants the best for their kids and the best for your family, your best, you know, everybody wants that.
For sure.
You know, but I had a lot of breaking points where I felt like man, maybe this ain't it. Maybe I fucked up.
Right.
You know, and I continued to work at it. And my wife joined me. You know, she continued. She was showing up to help me at the shop, and slowly but surely we started growing. You know, and we was getting people from a lot of dealerships that I worked at. You know, a lot of people. That's why I said everything happens for a reason.
For sure.
You know, I didn't make no money at the dealerships, but I made a lot of good connections.
Yep.
So it goes in hand with the journey.
Yes.
Because I didn't understand why I wasn't making no money. Eventually, it became irrelevant why I didn't make no money at the dealerships when I was trying to sell cars. But I made these connections that are now starting to help me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was starting to get a little work from here. Or this salesperson that I used to work with just sold a car. They're going to send it to me to get tinted. And I just started growing like that.
And obviously they liked you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's probably the best part.
Right.
Of that.
And along with still posting every day.
Right.
You know, I went from 112 followers to 87. I dropped.
Right.
And then started picking up. As soon as you know, I had 1,000. As soon as you know, I had 2,000.
Wow.
And I'm 80,000. You know, 80,000 followers.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You know, and
that's motivating for me because, you know, that's something that, you know, we deal with, you know, with the pod. It's like, what do you do? How do you do it?
Right.
You know, marketing companies, blah, blah, blah.
And I still stick to my fundamentals. I still stick to what got me there, which is posting. I still post. A lot of people, once they make it, they forget about what got them there.
Yeah.
You know, they get complacent and they get comfortable, and as soon as you know, they fall off that cliff. But that drive that I had was really a lot of that negativity that was going around in my life, or the comments that people was telling me a few years prior to that.
Yeah.
I use that as motivation.
Correct.
You know, all the go get a real man's job or stop putting stickers on people's windows. All that shit fueled me, you know, and a lot of family members even told me stuff like that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure, you know, I didn't look the best, you know, to my wife's family and stuff like that, you know, because you got a whole man right here. You still working, pregnant, and you're struggling.
Right.
I mean, I don't take it personal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would feel some type of way too if I see my daughter struggling and you were a man.
Yeah.
You know, but it fueled me. It all was motivation to me, you know, and I knew that I was going to eventually get out this slump, this dark hole that I couldn't get out of. And I just continued to work, man. I continued to work, and those 9 to 6 hours, by me not having enough work during the day, people started calling, can you do the tint now? It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I started taking in jobs when I can get it.
Yeah.
So that's when the missed time with my kids or missed time with my wife came into play, because now I'm not getting off at 6.
Right.
Now it's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm still tinting windows. Why? Because I had so many missed appointments during the day.
Right. You playing catch up.
That I'm playing catch up because I got to make the money, you know, and
that's the part that people don't realize.
Yeah.
That's the behind the scenes shit.
There's a lot of sacrifices that a lot of people don't see. You know, are you willing to make those sacrifices to succeed? You know, a lot of people are not willing to make those sacrifices.
Yep.
You know, they'd rather be at a 9 to 5, which to each his own.
Yeah.
You know, they'd rather be at a 9 to 5, get told what to do, clock in, clock out, and go about their business. Window tint has always been my passion. Still is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like from the beginning.
Since I was 14 years old, when I first laid eyes on it, it's just something I always been a car guy.
Yeah,
you know, so it goes hand in hand with it, and just anything you do, I feel like if you don't have passion for something, then you're not gonna be great at it. You gotta have that passion for it.
Right.
If you're doing shit for a paycheck and you're trying to build something,
ain't gonna happen.
You know, it's not gonna happen. Just like if you're chasing the money, with anything you're doing, eventually you're gonna come to a dead end.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're trying to build something and build, follow your dreams and build whatever you're trying to build, or your brand, or you're trying to build an empire or something.
Right.
Man, that's saying that the sky is the limit. The sky is not the limit. You can go higher. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I see it. You know, and I started Nola Window Tint with $200 in my pocket. Couldn't even afford to give the man the first month rent.
Right.
And bless his soul, he helped me out with that. And I started off with $200 in my pocket. After I ordered my first roll of tint, I had maybe $50 in my pocket. Then I wasn't worried about how I'm gonna eat tomorrow. There's a lot of skip meals. Trust me, I had a lot of skip meals, and I started. I was the tinner. I was the janitor. I was the receptionist.
Wearing all the hats.
I was the receptionist. I was everything.
Yep.
You know, and eventually, I ended up building so much that we started getting really like booked. Like it was surreal. Like fucking phone's ringing. Like damn, you know, I didn't know the fucking phone can ring that much.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
You know, my wife was helping with the phone. My wife was answering the phone, booking the appointments. You know, and then when it was time for her to leave to go get the kids from school, I was stuck there. You know, I hired somebody as a helper to help me. He didn't know jack shit about tint or anything, but I just needed help. So
right.
I trained him. He was an older guy, you know, and I trained him, and he's still with me to today.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
He's still with me to today, and he's came and gone a few times, you know, but
yeah,
you know,
that's how it goes.
That's one thing with me. I try to look out for my guys. You know, I don't like to call them my employees. I feel like we're like family.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, because they believe in your business, like they're helping you with this dream you have, right?
Yeah,
and that's bigger than like a paycheck, you know.
And you know, and I couldn't afford to hire nobody. Like talking about, you know, I couldn't afford to hire somebody with experience.
Yeah,
you know, and then eventually I started hiring like part time. You know, some of 2 guys that I have started with me part time, and they would come in after their other jobs and help me out because it just seemed like we were more busy at night than during the day, you know. And then business kept growing and growing, and eventually that side street that we were on, it was like a neighborhood street that faced like 4th Street, and I knew eventually it's going to be a problem because we had nowhere to park these cars at.
Oh, wow.
And we would block the road sometimes. Like, it was definitely a blessing, you know?
Yeah.
And I started off with $50 in my pocket and couldn't even hire somebody. And now we're an 8-man crew.
Wow.
You know, we're an 8-man crew going strong.
That's incredible, dude.
And 3 of my guys been with me. One of them's been the older gentleman that I tell you about, Mr. Felix. He's still with me till today, you know. And my 2 main tenors started part-time with me. And now they're full-time. Definitely. I mean, they've been full-time with me for a while now.
Wow.
For a few years. You know, we ended up moving out of that location and moved to a storefront. And it was a game changer. We was already set, like the brand, the name Nola Window Tint was already established when we moved. So moving to the prime location where we're at now, it was just a cherry on top.
Right.
You know, we was already.
What did that feel like to get that storefront? Like to finally feel like, hey,
man,
I made it.
It was surreal, man. You know, what's crazy is that storefront where we're at now, it's pretty big. You know, it's got 2 sides to it.
Yeah.
I used to park there at night sometimes when it was vacant. It was vacant for years. I used to park there. I used to say, this place gonna be mine one day.
Manifest.
I used to manifest the fuck out of it.
Hell yeah, bro.
And I knew it was so hard for me to reach that because they wanted so much money a month for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just, but I knew that one day I was gonna get in here.
Right.
And that's where I'm at.
Dude, that's incredible, dude.
You know, a lot of people that followed me from the other place followed me here. You know, and like I said, moving into the storefront was just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
You know, we was already established.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but it just ended up blowing up even more.
Well, to the point to where, like, you know, you've accomplished this thing, right? And then, you know, it took a lot of hard work, and you're still working at it. And so, like, I think that's like a present to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? I deserve to have this. But really, it's like you built that since, like, out of your mom's backyard.
Yeah.
So, if anything, it's like,
yeah, and
you deserve it.
That's why me moving into that new location, it was the cherry on top. It definitely blew.
Yeah.
It blew up. It remember originally it originally started as me trying to do 4 cars a day, then go home. Never happened like that.
Yeah.
So you got if you draw it out on paper, you got your plan.
Yeah.
You got a straight line.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I went and had zigzags, circles, and everything,
Uh-huh.
and didn't go to plan. You know, but I've been very fortunate and blessed to have amazing guys to work with. Like, I have an amazing crew. You know, and that's why I try to take care of them as much as I can.
Very important.
And not even just, I'm talking about referring to even finances, like taking care of them financially. Because I told you I was that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy that they didn't pay. They didn't pay enough. And they've been through that. You know, I know one of my main tenors have been through that, where he's with a company for so long and just they don't take care of you financially.
Right.
They make the money.
Yeah.
They give you some change.
Yeah.
So I always try to take care of them as best as I can. You know, and where originally I wanted to make Nola Window Tint 4 or 5 cars a day and go home. When I decided to really, really turn this up, I said to myself, I'm not gonna focus like other shops, other tint shops. They do car audio and they put window tint in the mix. I want it to be strictly window tint.
Right.
Like have 4 or 5 tinters and rolling cars out every hour and a half, like just bang them out.
Wow.
So when I turned that around and I made it that way, instead of the traditional window tint shop, they only has 1 tinter, maybe 2 tinters.
Yeah.
And you're only one person. How many cars can you really do consistently? Like, I've done 10, 12 cars a day by myself in one day. But consistently, for how long can you keep that up?
Yeah.
Your body's going to eventually,
practical.
right, your body's going to eventually shut down. You know, it's not going to be consistent. You can't say I'm going to go to work 6 days a week and I'm going to do 10 or 12 cars a day for the next 5-6 years. Just you're human, so I didn't want to be like the traditional tint shops that were around me, my competitors,
right?
Where they do they have one tinter, do X amount of cars a day. Like I wanted to break the scale.
It sounds like you did, dude.
I wanted to break the scale. I also pissed off a lot of people. I pissed off a lot of people because they're like, where the hell did this guy come from?
Yeah.
We never even heard of you. Right. When we moved to the expressway, to the storefront, they knew who I was already.
Yeah.
They knew who I was. And of course the competitors never have nothing nice to say. They'll even trash talk to your clients or potential clients. Oh yeah, you don't want to go to that place. They don't do good work. Mm-hmm. I've heard it all.
Yeah.
But in reality, they feel like, you took food from their table. Yeah. It's not personal. I give 2 flying fucks about them. Yeah. I got to make sure, my job is to make sure we all eat. And the competitors, they act like there's not enough to go around for everybody. There's enough to go around for everybody.
Yeah. I've been saying that, brother.
People act like it's the end of the world. Like, we all can eat.
Dude.
If y'all maybe shut the fuck up and focus on.
Thank you.
If y'all maybe shut the fuck up and focus on the shit that y'all need to focus on.
Yeah.
Y'all wouldn't be fucking worried about Nola Window Tint come through here and y'all barely do 10 jobs now. Or y'all got a job here and there. Yeah. Because they taking it all. Yeah. And mind you, I was that guy that used to tint a whole car for $100.
Yeah. Well, no, dude.
Just to build my name.
Correct.
$120, $140. That used to piss a lot of people off, but I didn't care. Right.
Where y'all located at on the West Bank? Because we gotta wrap it up. It's getting a little past our point.
We're 3535 West Bank Expressway.
Okay, and the Instagram page that we were talking about, and they can find you on
Nola Window Tint.
Yeah. And,
on Instagram and Facebook, any social.
I'm following you on both of my pages. So and then when I start my third page, but,
any social media platform,
sure.
TikTok as well. We're on TikTok, Nola Window Tint.
What's one thing before we kite out of here? What's one thing that you want to tell people, especially somebody like in the situation that you were in? Like, what's like the best advice you want to give somebody or anybody right now? Like as far as to being an entrepreneur, because you're a success story, man. I mean, you overcome a lot,
and that's just a fraction of the story.
Oh yeah, dude. We're gonna have you back in here for sure, man. 'Cause, you got a lot of interesting stuff.
I would say, any person trying to be an entrepreneur or business owner, for one, do your research before you get into it, and don't get discouraged by who's around you. You can have another business of the same business that's around you, but a lot of people get discouraged because, I can't really open my business there because that person's there.
Right.
I mean, you've gone to the grocery store, you've gone down the bread aisle, right?
Got 10 different types of bread. Maybe 100.
They got about 15 different companies selling bread.
Yeah.
That bread is sell out. Let a storm come around here. That bread is sold out.
Yeah.
So, definitely do your homework on what your goal is, what type of business you're trying to do. Do your homework on it and just push, man.
Right.
You got to push. You got to sacrifice sometimes. You got to put in that work, them hours behind the scenes, not just talk about it. You got to grab social media by the horn too, because the social media is everything now.
Yeah, man.
Everything. Your marketing is online. Everything's online.
Next time we have you back on, I definitely want to. That'll be a good pod about marketing and media, because a lot of people I think struggle with that right now, and but we'll definitely have you back to talk about that because I'm curious. I need to learn more, and it sounds like you have the formula, and I appreciate you coming on, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story, and he will be back, people, because. I definitely feel like I learned a lot from you tonight, man. And that's the whole point of this. So if y'all like this episode, Please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow Jay's page. And if y'all are on the West Bank, go check him out. Or if you're not on the West Bank, give him a call and still go check him out. And appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Y'all take care.